To episode 12 of B2B, the Business Club podcast. We're very lucky today to be joined by Dee Kelly.
Episode 12? I haven't even made the top 10.
I said that's right.
Episode 12?
I mentioned the episode. Lucky 12. I told you it's lucky number 12.
Lucky 12? Is 12 a lucky number?
Yeah.
There's only 11 episodes in the series, so welcome to series 2, episode 1. Delighted to be joined by Dee Kelly. Hello, Dee.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm okay, thank you very much.
Good. So we want to talk today, obviously, about your past, your notoriety around Birmingham and pretty much the whole of the UK.
Infamous.
The world, if you don't know it. The world.
The world.
Yeah.
International infamy following Benefit Street.
I know.
And obviously
Took us to here, Handsworth Cricket Club, down in the realness.
Yeah, that's what I thought, you know, I'd bring you out of your cushy studio, bring you into the real world, you know what I'm
That's it,
saying?
yeah.
The changing rooms.
The changing rooms.
Of
Yeah.
Handsworth Cricket Club.
That's what we like to do. Get real.
So would you kindly just give us a brief introduction, who you are, where you come from, and then we'll go from there.
I most certainly will. My name's Dee Kelly. It's very rare I give out the government name just in case. Just in case.
I'll be happy.
I've got any outstanding anything. Do you know what I mean? You never know in this day and age. Also known as how they do what I do. From Benefit Street.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking documentary, obviously, which aired 10 years ago. Yeah, you know, and just an all-round superstar. No, I'm only joking.
We know this.
Yeah, embarrassing mom to two. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a nan yet, phew, thank God. Yeah, but just me, Dee, from the street.
Yeah. I mean, we'll touch upon what you're doing now, because obviously you're doing amazing work with the charity. But if you want to go back, I'm jumping in a little bit here. So tell us about Benefit Street and how you come around and how they pitched it to you and how you felt at the time.
Yeah, it's really kind of like, do you know, it's a very strange kind of scenario, because obviously, like I said earlier, it's been 10 years this year since like the documentary aired. But then like if you sort of flip back 2 years before, because the documentary was actually filmed over 18 months, whereas now you can just, boom, chuck a documentary out, you know, over a week. This was kind of like really, you know, thought of, and the process and how they manipulated, and but no, they did. Do you know what I'm saying? So 2 years before the documentary aired, it was kind of like surreal, to be fair, because I can't even remember how they actually made their way onto the street. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was doing. Hiding inside a whole road of residents and approaching individuals. You know, knock on the door.
Well, ironically enough, they met another resident in a job centre in Birmingham. So I think what they were doing was probably going around job centres and, you know...
market research.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, you know, what's it like where you live? Because I'm still going to say this now, do you know what I mean? It was pitched initially as they wanted to make a documentary about how community spirit still exists, you know, in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like now, James Turner Street, it's a tiny little road. There's probably not even 100 houses on that road, you know, it's so small. So I think they'd been on the street for a while, and then the person that they were filming with obviously got fed up with them and basically just knocked my door and kind of said, you can have them. You know, because I think you kind of do things, don't you? And then you're like, when you don't know what's going to happen or you don't know how it's going to turn out. So I remember them coming in and we're like, you know, well, what are you doing? Like, we're doing a documentary on community spirit. Okay, do you want to take part? I don't know, but why not? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so all kind of that. It's like, you know, who are you going to be filming with? Oh, we're going to film with the whole street, which they did. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you've got this really small street. It's a multicultural street. The mix, you know, it's kind of like there's more people on the street working than there was not working. Do you know what I'm saying? So they kind of filmed over 18 months with everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like, and then it's just kind of like surreal because it's a real funny moment, to be fair, because they kind of like asked, you know, they were asking people, well, we haven't named this yet, you know, can you think of a good name? So the kids were picking out names and other people were picking out names. And I remember it would have been probably in the December, you know, in the December of 2013, we got called to a hotel on Broad Street,
Right.
where they were going to premiere the first ever episode of the documentary. So I remember we all took off to this hotel. We walked into like this massive room, and the first thing you seen when you walked into this room was like loads of security guards, and we were like, huh? Do you know what I mean? It was like kind of like, well, what's going on here? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you've spent 18 months, like, you know, living in our houses and, you know, becoming like part of our families, and we walk into this room and all we can see is like a wall-to-wall security. Yeah, so it was kind of like real, you know, what on earth is going on here? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we all kind of sat down around this big table, and you have this massive screen at the front of the room. Dim the lights, boom, Benefit Street. We were like, are you having a laugh?
Screw it.
That's the first time you did the start of the programme?
Yes.
Oh my.
From that very second, I thought we have been well and truly done over.
Shit.
And then it was kind of like, now I know why they're there. Do you know what I'm saying? It was
Gotcha.
like, I can't believe, you know what I mean? It was like, it was just, you just knew, I knew from that, and I know that everybody knew from that second that we've been.
It's not community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Well and truly
underlyingly
done.
there was that to it, wasn't there? But they've painted it a bit kind of the only way is Essex, then, didn't they? And kind of took the narrative elsewhere, didn't they?
I think
There was an underlying. There was a little bit of that. It wasn't that a community, and obviously yourself and your neighbours selling the discounts at 50p stuff, things like that. There was that side.
I've known that kid my whole life, yeah, and I've never ever bought half a cup of washing up liquid off him for 50 pence, yeah? Yeah. No, do you know what I'm saying? And I can tell you something as well, because it's like really funny, to be fair, because there were elements of it where we kind of like, every now and again, we get annoyed with them, do you know what I'm saying? It's the same as everything. You're kind of doing our head in now,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And it's like, and they'd annoyed us and we refused to film. So at one stage we refused to film, I think it was for about 2 or 3 weeks. So that's when then they were like, well, what are we going to do? Because these are really digging their heels in, do you know what I mean? And I think we've upset them, and we're not going to be able to finish this show. Hence the 50p man, we'll get him and he can knock on a few doors.
Oh, really?
Hence someone else coming in and rare. Do you know what I mean? So there were
Bringing
also
new
people,
characters who are like, oh, yeah,
they didn't even
right.
live on the street, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they had to kind of get footage from somewhere, I suppose. Yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
So did anyone kick off at the premiere?
yeah,
Did they?
yeah.
I'd have thought so. Did you kick off?
Well, yeah, I was very vocal, do you know what I mean? Because I'm not stupid, and I knew the second I saw them 2 words, do you know what I mean? It was a lie. Everything was a lie. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, like I said to you, I've just said to you, you know, you build up a rapport with these people. Do you know what I mean? You bring them into your home, you bring them into your kids' lives, you bring them into your lives, you know, you feed them, you look after them, do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like,
They've stabbed you in the back.
yeah, massively. So this would have been, because I think it first said it was either the 4th of January, I think, or the 6th of January
It
or
was
something.
Jan, yeah.
So obviously there was like, I can't believe you've done this, that, and the other, no communication, whatever. We all kind of went home and went, just wait for it, do you know what I mean? Because basically we're well and truly screwed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we just knew we were.
You come out of it really well, though.
Do you know? What do you mean?
You come out of it really well. You come out of it genuine. So, obviously, I knew
I
you
think
were right about that time, and you just come
Yeah, I
across
think everyone
that
did.
you are.
You see, and this is kind of what you say as well, right? there's no denying what you saw was what we did, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, because it's there. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think what kind of got us was that we were so tight, do you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how we existed, and that's what they kind of filmed. It was kind of like, you know, we want to see people living in a community who kind of like, you know, help each other, are
each
there
other's
for
backs.
each other. Yeah, I've got each other's backs, and that's 1,000,000% what we all had.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, again, you can kind of say from the perspective of obviously, you know, of the production company, it's like they want
They
to
need
be
to have
action.
them, eh?
Yes.
For
Do you know what I'm
writing. It's all
saying?
writing, isn't it?
And what you're going to get is, if you title something immigration, benefits, what's the other one? Religion, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Clickbait, innit?
yeah, 1,000,000%. So you automatically know, you know, and this is kind of thing, you know, straight away you're going to cause a massive divide.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
I
like
remember at the time it was It was kind of front page headline news, wasn't it? You was
all over the
tabloid.
world. And that's the thing. It's kind of like, you know. So I remember it was a Monday night. It was 9 o'clock. We sat at home. We had all the doors locked with the curtains closed, and everything. It's like we just knew to batten down the hatches. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what's coming next. Because social media wasn't massive. Well, it weren't massive in my life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I hadn't heard of like Twitter and all them lots. Do you know what I mean? We all had our Facebooks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, you know, behind closed doors, and we just sat there and we were watching this program, and we were like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean?
Like you say though, you have done the stuff. It's the way they edit it, and obviously within
Yes.
my field and stuff, you can edit something
Yes.
to be good or bad, and a horror or a romance, can't you?
Exactly.
And it's
And that's
the way
kind of,
because
you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of, you know, I've always said it, you've got 18 months filming, edited into, 5, 6, 45-minute shows?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I remember going to bed that night. I remember going to bed that night, and this is no word of a lie, about an hour later, that street was gridlocked.
people coming down.
Because
it's like,
again, the first line of that bloody TV show was James Turner Street in Birmingham. Well, there aren't many of them, is it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, so like the whole
sounds like Hollywood Boulevard.
just knew. Do you know what I'm saying? We had people shouting up at our windows, knocking on doors, car horns, bibbing. I think on week number 2, episode number 2, James Turner Street was actually on Google Maps as a tourist attraction.
No,
Yeah, a tourist attraction.
that is so mad.
We used to have like, you know, ex-forces security guards parked on either end of the road because of this social media storm. This storm that, you know, death threats and...
Hey,
Do you know
bring
what I
out
mean?
all the loonies, don't you?
Yeah, it was just absolutely... It was completely surreal. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember coming out my house the one morning, and I had like, you know, a film crew standing in my garden from like Russia. And someone over the road had one from France, and I'm like, are you serious? And I remember, like, you know, receiving a knock at the door, and, you know, it was like really mad. There was this woman, she'd come down just to say hello, and her sister had travelled from Africa to her, and then they'd driven for 12 hours to come down to, yeah. Yeah. I remember being in my kitchen the one day, and
Do a cup of tea.
everything was for a cup of tea. It was always for a cup of tea.
That's
Do
what you know,
what I
that's
mean?
again.
I was like standing in my kitchen the one day, and I was like, you know, obviously cooking dinner or whatever, and I could hear this noise. I went out, and someone was halfway through my window. I knew who you were in. I'm like, you're climbing through my window. Do you know what I'm saying? It's so, oh, but I've been knocking your door. And I'm like, but you're climbing through my window. Do you know what I'm saying?
Trying to justify,
Do you know what
I've
I'm
been
saying?
knocking your door.
Yeah, but I've been knocking your door. Yeah, but you're halfway through my window. Do you know? But it was all nice people, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It weren't someone climbing through my window to kill me.
Yeah.
It was someone who just wanted to chat or...
I think we just give you a bug.
It was just completely surreal.
That's bonkers.
It really was, and it's like... It's just madness, pure madness.
So was there any kind of advice, or was there any help given from the production staff when obviously it was going out, when it all started, when it became cultural phenomenon, which is what it was at the time. Was there any kind of advice and help on how to deal with that? And
Support.
We had a couple of meetings in the local pub. Do you know what I mean? About, oh, we're here to support you, we're here if you need us, and this, that, and the other. But I'm going to be completely honest with you now, and I think even they were shocked.
At how much it
Yes.
mental.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I think, I think, do you know what I mean? It's like that they were even like, what on earth? Do you know what I mean? It's
What have we
like,
created?
yes.
Well, now they're 10 a penny
Yeah.
on the Channel 5 and all that, aren't they? You've got Eddie, he birthed a genre
It
of.
rebirthed the term poverty porn, didn't it? Which
What-
is a disgusting term.
Well, I tell you,
From the 80s
did it
originally.
rebirth it, or was that it? That's what it was labelled, do you know what I'm saying?
Stuff like that, everything that went around that, the videos.
But that wasn't kind of at home, was it?
No,
that was
it wasn't
always
exploitative,
exactly. It was always, you know, in what they classed as third world countries. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, I mean, I do hate the word poverty porn. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, because this is people's lives and prison. You know, people do live in sort of like, you know, dire circumstances. But again, it's kind of like headline grabbing words, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
impactful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but like I said, you know, I can't speak for them, but I do honestly think, you know, because that's their business. Do you know what I mean? That there was an element of they couldn't actually believe it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some high fives.
It was
going
an
about that,
absolute,
like,
do you know what I'm saying? It's like just a phenomenon, really. It's like, it's just madness.
Do you still see any of them?
I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people on the street, but not a lot of people who are in the show.
Right, okay.
Sadly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that a few of them passed away, haven't they?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Few-
It's 3 years and 3 years. No, what was it? 2019. Bloody hell, 5 years. It's only 5 years now since Fungi passed away.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because that,
Only last week. It was his anniversary last week.
no, is it 5 years? Yeah, 2 years back. So when I was watching it last night, they've made it into, it's more fiction, isn't it? So it's all like, they've tried to make it like a reality show of Sesame Street, haven't they? To a certain extent. They've tried to put that narrative on it. So they had the two lads, Fungi, and the other lad who was going around robbing, and they were kind
He's
of.
passed away as well,
Is it?
actually. He passed
Danny,
away.
was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you've got Black D, and he was helping her out in that one scene, and then she's having problems with the benefits. But there's just a whole, and then the couple who's got the young kids as well. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, and that's how they've. I imagine that at some point they'd be like, the only way is Essex to be like, okay, this has happened, or just feeding you bits to.
No,
go off
not
on
at
that
all.
really. No.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like there was nothing kind of like reality show about it, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It was real.
It was real, and I think that again is what you know, what I stress to this day. But it's kind of like, you know, it's going to sound like I don't know how it's going to sound like, to be fair, but you know, I wasn't the only me on that street, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and this again, you know, it wouldn't show because when you work out, I had a nervous breakdown in kind of like probably early 2012.
Yeah.
And this was filmed in 2012. Not making any excuses or nothing like that, but you know, maybe I was still episoding, as they say. But also, it's kind of like then where you had like, you know, Dee had come in and she'd have to look after my kids for 3 weeks because I was in bed, you know what I mean? And dosed up to the eyeballs on tablets and things like that. And people were doing my shopping and people were like, you know, looking after my children and all this, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how we worked as
Without
a
creating
family.
narrative
Because
around you being
yes,
the one
the
that
only
you
one,
like.
when
Yeah.
it wasn't me the only one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, but again, it's sort of, you know, not my fault. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but also, you know, and again, I'm still having that. There is an element that it weren't fair. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'd always say it's like, but you know, but daylight. I wasn't all that because I wasn't well. Do you know what I mean? And like maybe during this 18 months, I probably spent 6 months. You know what I mean, wallowing away and crying, or you know, like I said, you know, dosed up to the eyeballs on.
Yeah.
Prescription drugs. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, and stuff like that, and that was kind of like, so you can kind of understand in a way because it angered me a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? So possibly, I can't speak for other people, I could see then why they'd probably get a bit, you know what I'm saying?
Causing just friction for.
So they made you the focal point of the show, really, didn't they? And then they've created a character for you, really.
Yeah.
Well, not that character, but from there, then obviously you've come away from the show, and then the publicity, the spotlight is on you. Then, so following that meant I was looking at your Wikipedia.
Have I got Wikipedia?
Wikipedia.
Have I? Is it like a long one?
Is it stats guy? Is it stats guy?
It's all clean. It's all clean. So,
Oh my God, I've got Wikipedia. I never Google myself. I never watch nothing. Because I think I sound awful, you know.
Nah.
I do, honest to God.
Well,
I don't think.
don't sort of-
Because you know, like,
obviously, but,
you know, like when you go around and people are like, oh, I knew it was you because I recognised your voice.
I do recognise your voice when you're
I've got a
around.
very distinctive voice, haven't I? Yeah, I don't know how you describe it, but I've got a
It's very distinctive.
Is
Yeah.
it's hard to listen
How
to
would you
yourself as
describe
a
my
producer.
voice? Apart from distinctive, pick another word.
Strong. So it's a very strong voice.
Have I got a strong? Have I
And you've
a
got
really
a distinct, very really distinctive laugh as well.
Oh no, it's my laugh. Smoker's laugh. That is.
You've got a filthy laugh. You've got a filthy laugh.
You bad, don't you?
I'd say I'm really good from my accent. I don't think you need to.
Do you think I'm like posh? Shall I take that as a no?
I don't know. What.
You know,
What's?
like mumbly, probably. So what you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm from Dublin.
See, that's black.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
No,
That's yam innit?
eloquent. You're well spoken.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
It's quite clear that you've been around media.
I said that
Been
last
around.
night. Media trained.
But I'm not
I
media
know,
trained.
I know.
That's the laugh.
So following from
Sorry.
Benefit Street then.
Yeah.
So was there anything in regards to what did you do? What was the next step? Was it the phone started ringing then? We want you to do. I mean, you were on TV debates. You were asked to speak at the Conservative Party conference.
So I'm going to butt in now, but
That
we
was
met, didn't we, originally on that advert for, what was it, a cash thing or
Oh
something?
my
Was it like a loan shark?
It was like a loan shark.
I know, yeah.
Where I'd been bloody signed up
Yeah,
to do an advert.
because we were shooting
And
it,
this
weren't we?
event, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So obviously, you know, oh, someone's been in touch, rare, they want you to do an advert and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, fair enough. It was a loan shark. We were mortified.
But yeah, I suppose you were getting
So how do you
balls
fil-
off.
yeah, how do you filtering? Was it that did I recommend an agent or something?
No, hands on heart, it's kind of like, obviously, loads of things started coming through. Then, you know, you were getting, like I said, you know, letter after letter posted through the door, sent through the mail, people knocking the door. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like,
That's how direct it was. You literally
yeah,
knocked
because
on the
like
door.
everyone knew where you live.
course,
Do you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? It's,
Yeah.
again, it's like
Direct lines,
everyone
yeah,
knows where you live. Yeah. So you know, why quite, you know, pay the price of a stamp? Let's just go rock up and knock a door.
Trying through the window.
Yeah, we'll climb through every window. Do you know what I mean? She's in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know she's in there. So that kind of like started coming through, but then you get then you get, you know, you started to get the, oh, I'm a management agent, I'm a PR, this, I'm a do, let me manage you and rare tear tear. And I mean, you know, at this stage, I'm like a 42-year-old, you know, adult who ain't got a clue, who's never wanted to be in the limelight in her whole life, who's suddenly in this limelight. I'm like, what do I do? Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you've been berated and stuff for being part of the system, and there was kind of like, in a way, a positive about it, because it's like, well, hang on a minute, do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, people are offering you £5,000 just to do an interview in a newspaper. It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you know, do I just carry on doing what I'm doing, or do... But do you know what it is with me as well? I'm very gobby. Do you know what I mean? And kind of a lot of kind of like, and protective. So kind of a lot with me, and I think that's probably what happens. If people kind of come for me or mine, I'll come back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the protective thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? And markups. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it was kind of like, you know, these live debates and this, that and the other and things like that. And I'm like, well, you've got something to say about me. Well, say it to my face. I'm a very say it to my face kind of person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where I saw and why I probably did a lot of that. Do you know what I mean? And if they were paying me, they were paying me. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like a way out of the system that I've been, you know, totally condemned for being part of. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so that's when that sort of started. So like, you know,
Was it literally then, so you've been berated for being part of a system that relies on welfare, and then you got the same people giving you stick then for taking money, going and doing things?
no, they'd give you a stick anyway. Do you know what I mean? If I'd have been ordained in a church, I'd become a priest or whatever, or do you know what I'm saying? It's like, people don't like you, they don't like you. They don't know what.
So at that time, we were having a chat, weren't we? And I kind of, at the age that I was,
I didn't know what an age was. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what we were discussing at the time, though, is it left a bit of sour taste in your mouth, obviously, with what they'd done and how they portrayed the street. So I think at the time you were a bit dubious about these people saying, come on to this, come on to that, because you don't want them to, oh yeah, come on, yeah, we love you and that, and then get you on and just be like, hitting you with powers. That's what your kind of anger was about it. It's all right offering me 10 grand, 20 grand or whatever to go on here and there and everywhere, but what is it about?
Yeah.
That's the anger.
And I think a lot of it kind of, you know, it's like when I started, especially, you know, I prefer live. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can't edit live.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You can't kind of like, you know, twist live. But I remember Katie Hopkins. She was obviously very, very vocal, which, you know, at the end of the day, it's a paid job for her to be vocal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've actually met her. It was the first time I met her as well. She was surrounded by security, which I find really strange. So I think she might have said something not very nice about my children.
I did she?
Yeah. But why do people feel the need to surround themselves with security when I'm going to meet them? I really don't know.
I don't know.
But obviously, and there was actually, because I did the live debate thing with her, and you know, there was actually odds in betting shops on who out of the panel would swear first, and it was and I was top. And you know, I've never ever swore on a live TV show or in an article or recorded or not. I've never swore.
Oh, so that's it.
So I remember they were like,
absolutely line if you want, because you're like, well, I don't.
But I don't, and that's the thing, I don't. Do you know what I mean? I think they put 18 months worth of swearing into like 6 little episodes.
Of course.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I can have a little, do you know, I'm Irish for God's sake, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, but yeah, there was actually odds on, you know, odds on who'd knock her out first and who'd swear
Get on with Kate
first.
Hopkins.
Do you know what I do?
Is she just all a facade? It's like,
Yes. And that's the thing, I met her like a few times, and I remember like, I think it was the second or third time I met her. It was like a debate show thing or whatever, and I was on there, and then when I went into the studio, she's like, "Oh, Dee, my friend." No, come on, I'm saying, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, this man." I'm like, "I'm not your friend." Don't tell everyone I'm your friend. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I met you a couple of times, but please don't tell everyone I'm your friend. No, do you know what I mean? But she's a lovely person. Do you know what I'm saying? And
She's someone, isn't she, that this whole media and the narrative, you're either a victim or you use it to your advantage.
Yes.
And you're at one side or the other of the media, aren't you? And she's found a niche, hasn't she?
She says how she feels. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like, you know, her job was, don't know what it is now, but
I'm not sure.
her job was to, in my mind, be a controversial columnist. And it worked.
Stir it
She also became, you know, one of the most hated, but one of the most liked persons, you know, people, sorry. Because again, you know, no matter what she said, some people would agree with it, some would disagree with it.
Yeah. It's exactly what Joey Barton's doing now on Twitter. Isn't it? It's exactly what Joey Barton's doing. It's just fueling a fire to get a reaction, and then that makes you infamous because, like I say, you split it down the middle, don't you?
Exactly.
Lovers and haters.
Exactly.
And they'll fight each other for the sake of you. They'll just go off on each other.
Exactly, it's just so weird.
How long did you and Big Brother for?
Oh, that was funny, that was.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Big Brother. That's funny.
That was like really funny because I remember, again, I was just sitting at home and I got this letter through the post, and I opened it and I just started laughing. And because I'm obsessed with like people's lives and reality TV, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I've watched that show, I've watched Big Brother every single series since it ever started. And I was like looking at this and I just started laughing. I was like, oh my God. And it was kind of like, you know, when you talk to your friends and so on, like, I've had this letter and they want me to go on live.
I bet everyone was like, you've got to do it.
Do you know what I'm saying? But I kind of like just left it, and they kept contacting. And that was like, I went to meet them, and that's kind of when I kind of reached out to, like, because somebody had said to me, I know this guy, he's really good, eye roll,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Or something.
Hindsight's a great thing.
So it was kind of like, you know, well, he knows what, you know, they know what they're doing. It's their job. They'll come along. So we met at a bar in town, and then it's just so funny. We met at a bar in town. And
Did he do all the negotiating for you and stuff?
no, because that's
Because I thought
like-
you said it
Yes,
was already
I've done
done,
that
wasn't it?
myself. It was already done. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and this again, it's kind of like, it was more like the nitty gritty things. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, because I'm not stupid. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I know how to write a letter, I know how to write an email, I know how to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? What I don't know is, what's the legalities to this, or what's the legality? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, if I do this, will this come back? And do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like,
Protecting.
exactly.
Backside, innit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like an already done deal and stuff. But then again with me, it's when news had leaked out that, you know, YD's going to be in Celebrity Big Brother and rare. It was all the celebrity, she ain't a celebrity, who does she think she is? And, you
Yeah.
know, the usual. So my motto was kind of like, you know, something, the more people that don't want me to do it, I'm going to do it just to piss you off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I was there. I was one of the most hated people in the country.
Was you?
Yeah, well, this is my mindset.
Yeah,
I might have been,
I was gonna
I
say,
don't know.
yeah.
This is how I perceive
Right, yeah,
life. Do you know what I mean? So, I said to the kids, do you know what I mean? I'm going away. I'll be away for a week. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? It's going on. Big goodbyes to the children. I'll see, you know, it's a week, you'll be fine, do you know what I mean? Tell me why I was in that place for nearly a month. Do you know? And all the time I'm like, but I said to my kids, I'll see you in a week. I said, I don't know where my kids are. I don't know who's got my kids. I don't know if they're being fed. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was like,
I didn't have my wings food.
do you know, and it's like, I was just like, I was in bits in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
They could still see you.
Like TV, because the one guy you might
But I couldn't work it out, and I was like, what on earth is going on here? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
You thought you'd be in a night.
yeah, boom. He said, money.
Yeah.
Be home with the kids in 7 days.
Yeah.
I made it to the final, 4 weeks. 4
Who was
weeks.
in the final with? Who won it?
I was in the final with Gary Busey, he won it.
Right.
Then there was Audley Harrison. Then James Jordan from Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
Then George from Gogglebox, God rest his soul. He
God,
passed.
that's
He
right.
passed away. Yeah, that's really heartbreaking, man. Then me.
Yeah.
Then me. Yeah, and then Down from Bewitched. She was 6. Yeah, so I was there. Yeah.
Dream, that wasn't it?
You're in the final with Gary Busey.
Gary boosted.
What was it?
A nightmare. An absolute nightmare. Yeah. Save that from your book. No, I'm only joking.
That's another podcast entirely.
Definitely got there, but
Well, I mean, you know, it's, and this is the thing, you see, me and George kind of like, well, what you'd class as normal people. I'm not saying that they're not normal people, but we were the most normal, if that makes sense. You know, he sat on his sofa and watched telly. Well, so did I, but I wasn't filmed doing it, if that makes sense. So me and George used to sit on this, like, you know, by the little pool, and we were like, oh my God, have you seen that? You know, we're like, that's Gary, you know, the Hollywood actor, and then,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like, we couldn't believe we were like in the same house as them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was traumatic.
Yeah.
It was traumatic. It was the best time of my life because you really do not have contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see the hate. I couldn't see the. Well, in all my mind was just, it's going to be hate, isn't it? I couldn't see. I don't know. I couldn't see that people like me, or why would people like me, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I'd gone in there knowing that kind of like people had been put in to kind of, you know, go head to head with me, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I don't know, the fighter in me was always kind of there, and I'm like waiting for people to come at me so I could come. Do you know what I mean? So I could come back.
Yeah.
No, you know, I mean, even Ricky, you know, God bless him, from Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
I mean, me and him are just bezies. Do you know what I'm saying? I love that boy so much. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, speak to him all the time. I speak to Kelly Maloney all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? George used to, but obviously, you know, I've got to miss that kid so much. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I made friends for life in there, but I also made enemies for life. Like that Gary Busey was a completely different kettle of fish.
It's just.
It wa-
I remember some of the battles.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there was an arrogance about him, and I think
He's
that you're.
notoriously unhinged though, so it's
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I don't think, and this is what I'm on about. It's kind of like, you know, he lost a percentage of his brain in a really bad motorbike accident. So, to a certain extent, yes, he is unhinged, but then to another extent, he's manipulated a lot.
Yeah.
And she can sue me if she wants to sue me. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. His missus, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? She's just the worst, the worst.
She
And I think-
dictates everything.
And put it, he wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like he wasn't. And this is like one of my arguments. And I know there's loads of other people that have backed me up on this. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't capable enough to be in that house. We were 24-hour-a-day carers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was an element of, yeah, we're here for an experience, this, that, and the other. But also, how can we do that? Do you know what I mean? It's like, because we're caring for this American fella. In my mind, I'd say no. Do you know what I'm saying?
They've
It's
seen the
like-
name, haven't they? Oh, we've got him, and they've probably run him through the house
Yeah.
tests and kind of, okay, let's just get him in, and when really probably wasn't what
I
it
mean,
was to be
we're in
on
there,
there,
do you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm saying, you know, the guy won the show, he was in there for a month, he had 2 pairs of trousers, he had no underwear, and 1 jumper. You know what I'm saying? He had to be dragged into a shower by Audley and James, and washed. He couldn't wash. He used to expose himself to the females and back us into corners. And we used to go into like the diary room and everything and say, this is not right. Do you know what I'm saying? This is not right.
What was the response?
We didn't get one.
Well, they didn't
We didn't get
obviously
one.
they didn't show that.
But apparently it was written in his contract. He used to say all the time, it's written in my contract. I'm going loads of times.
That's
all the
written in his
time.
contract, so I must be able to.
No, it was written in his contract that he's
can do what he wants.
won. You're coming in here, you'll win the show, and he won the show. Do you know what I'm saying? But a lot of kind of like again, it's the word editing. Do you know what I'm saying? You got 24 hours. It's 24 hours of the day, isn't it? Yeah, 24 hours show in a day, edited into 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you didn't see, like, I mean, we were bloody useless. We were all starving in there. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like we couldn't win a task for bloody love nor money. We couldn't even win a counting task. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean?
Lost your mind in that.
So in the same, like, do you know what I mean? It's like you get the basic of rations, and then we got the basic of everything. Do you know what I mean? I used to make about like 10 loaves of bread a day. Do you know what I mean? Because I was the only one that could bake bread. Do you know what I mean? It's like Audley was a good cook. You know, I remember James was an okay cook, to be fair, but nobody else could like cook. But we had nothing to cook because we couldn't win nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? And I remember this one. I don't know if it was like task or whatever, but we'd won. Whatever we'd won, we had a chicken. Yeah, a chicken.
One chicken.
One chicken. So we'd cook this chicken, yeah, and getting ready to eat it. Tell me why my man, yeah, comes out, grabs the chicken,
Boozy.
yeah, with both his hands, but he had excrement all up. So he had to throw it in the bin. The one chicken we won, you know, we had to throw it in the bin.
Because Gary Busey put his defecated hands in.
What a headline that is. Yeah, I bet he was absolutely fuming right now.
Yeah.
So what was that then? So you don't even...
No, no,
You've got no interest then in, okay, we'll cut that out, have another one.
Did they put that on air? Did they show that?
I don't.
I half remember
I
something
don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know. They probably put on air or shouting
Like it's
at him.
funny.
over a
Yeah,
chicken,
look, it's
picking
funny.
on him, and bullying an old age pensioner, do you know what I mean? But let's not show an old age pensioner, you know, flashing his bits at vulnerable girls in the house and backing people into corners, and do you know what I'm saying? It's like, but I think there was one stage, and I think it was kind of like, I kind of like looked at him, and I think this was aired where I actually said to him, well, hang on a minute, my dad's 70-something years old and he don't fit himself, do you know what I'm saying? Because there weren't, you know, I think that was probably related to the same incident, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, so there was, that was in my mind, it was, you know, and others, because I know others have backed me on this, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, he wasn't mentally capable to be in a situation like that.
Yeah.
But then also when we came out, now don't forget, like I said again, I'd been in this house for 4 weeks that I was only expecting to be in for like 7 days, not weeks. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd come out on finale night. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't seen my kids, I hadn't seen my dad, I hadn't seen my other half alone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like from the old dog, yeah. Whereas, yeah, get back to... you know, you get to it, but again, like, tell me
So
why...
they whisking you straight away then to...
No, but this is what I'm saying. So we go to, like, we come out. Do you know, I'm getting like a bit of a gist here, because when I come out, Gary Busey's partner was actually surrounded by security. When I think about it, so I'm getting kind of a bit of a complex over this now.
I feel like we should have brought
Yeah, I know.
Do you know, it's kind of like...
Better not. Yeah.
So
Scrub the questions up.
yeah, we went like this, but and he was like shoved in a corner, like there was him and his partner, you know, with a whole line of security again. Because I did go for her. Well, I wouldn't have attacked her,
Yeah.
but I would have, you know, said what I had to say. So when we went back to the hotel that we were in, that's where kind of I was reunited with my daughter. But not my son, so that broke my heart because he was too young. So I'd had, like, you know, my dad was there, my daughter was there, my friends were there, my partner was there. So obviously, you know, all the other finalists were there and everything as well with their families. And we're all sort of, you know, oh God, you know, talking and laughing and just, you know, I've missed her, do you know what I mean? I hadn't seen my kids for like weeks and weeks. And then I remember like them going off and we were just getting ready to sort of go to our rooms and that. And we kind of turned around and we're like, is that Gary? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, where's his partner?
Yeah.
He was on his own. So he'd been in the Big Brother house for 4 weeks.
And it's just didn't.
Had come out and she'd pissed off and left. So we ended up sitting up with him all night.
Exactly.
So he wasn't on his own.
Oh no, mad. That's legendary.
How bad's that?
It is, but yeah.
So I had to wait till the next night then. So
No, no, for God's sake. Top block.
really?
So Gary wouldn't have minded.
Really? Well, I've been peeking before.
We're going to have a catch up, but I have to babysit Gary Busey.
Yeah, that's an excuse, isn't it? It's a good excuse.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, struck me there. It's kind of...
You definitely need to look at writing that book.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know, I'm telling you something, it's just madness, but do you know what I think is? Kind of what pisses me off, it's like these people, you know, it's like when you win nothing but basic rations, and I'm like, what's that? And they're like, basic rations.
Do you know what it went though, didn't it? And they pushed the envelope, and they pushed and pushed in that from the first series, and then the heaven and how, the poor and rich. They knew what they were doing psychologically. Each series, they were pushing more and more psychological warfare on contestants, and I'm surprised no one snapped, and I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger thing.
I snapped many times in that diary room. I'm like, listen, yeah, this is what I said, just say this.
Look at the security.
Yeah, listen, yeah. But it's weird because you talk to like this tiny little hole in the wall, and I'm like, I will still talk to you even though you're a hole in the wall, yeah? Don't talk to me about basic rations. Well, tell me then, Dick, what would you buy if you were on basic rations? And I'm like, listen, I never had a potato in weeks. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the Irish in me, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, no basic ration is that shit that you're fucking, oh sure, that's my first one over, that you're fobbing off lentils, chickpeas, this, that and the other, and are you off your rocker? Do you know what I'm saying?
That's it, it's all part of it, isn't it? All that basic food then, and you're not really eating enough to function properly cognitively and stuff like that.
You've bought me a packet of yeast, you've got flour, you've got this, that and the other, you can buy a loaf of bread for 40p. Do you know?
Spending more on the
Do you
ingredients.
know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
It's quite impressive that you do know how to bake bread, because I wouldn't imagine any people
I love baking.
would be able to bake bread.
Yeah, I love baking bread.
So if you weren't doing
Only
that, what
problem-
would have been the solution then? You would have just, say, you're all just eating lentils and there's no bread and...
But, I mean, I didn't lose any weight, and I don't know how I didn't lose any weight, because I never ate nothing. Apart from no bread, any. That's probably why. That's probably why I did. I used to make people like a loaf each. Do you know what I mean? And I taught
A
people.
loaf for breakfast, one for lunch,
Yeah,
and
I actually taught people how to drink OXO cubes because they didn't even know that you could use an OXO cube. I said, dip your bread in that. Yeah, and I think Gary Busey actually left that house with a box of OXO cubes in his pocket because he said they were the nicest things ever, and he
Changed his
never
life.
ever. Yeah, I think he did. I think no, but then OXO cubes changed.
That's the
man's life.
soundbite there. That's the soundbite for social media.
No, but you know, it's not, and that's old school, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you come home from school in the winter, slice of bread and an oxide. Well, obviously, you had water to it, not just
Yeah.
fresh.
You need a bit dry.
Yeah. Sorted. That's basic. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
That's great. So moving on then. So now, the good work that you do now.
Yeah.
So obviously you're doing great work. Do you think that with it, you bring?
So just to kind of clarify what you're talking about there, so Birmingham saying no to knife crime.
Yes. Obviously, you know, it's been kind of like, it's been a really good 10 years, but it's been kind of like as well a really hard 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, mentally, I'm not the most stable, if that makes sense. But the same as anybody who suffers with mental health, I have my good days, I have my bad days. In between that, obviously, we had this massive kind of section of our life where it's really hard and difficult, if I'm honest with you, to be fair, because my daughter's first relationship obviously turned into a domestic violence relationship. And that being said, then led to kind of like, you know, a real escalation of offences. Like he broke into our house and came after me and my partner with a knife while we were in bed. He, you know, set fire to all her stuff in my garden, slashed all our car tyres, you know what I'm saying, stalked my daughter, you know, really bad. So that was like a real bad kind of like, maybe this went on for like about 2 years. The police couldn't find him, okay, even though I could, do you know what I'm saying? But this went on and there was like a massive court case. So kind of that was sort of, you know, something that you couldn't talk about, but was kind of like, you know, affecting you, you know, your mental health, your daughter's mental health, the whole kind of like, you know, demographics of like your family unit, do you know what I mean? Where like you'd be scared stiff if, you know, your kids go out and stuff like that. Anyway, so that court case finally happened and came to an end only probably 2 years ago, if I'm honest with you. But in 2019, in 2019, myself and my best friend Rachel Warren, she's a school teacher. She teaches at a junior school in Handsworth, who she also is in a roundabout way a victim of knife crime, whereas her son, you know, he was robbed at knife point. He had like a Rambo knife held to his throat in a park in Perry Bar just for like his phone, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and that's kind of like the sadness and reality of what's going on at the moment in our streets. There was this big sort of like, you know, nationwide campaign called Your City Says No, where it was like, you know, groups in different parts of the country, like you had Croydon says no, you know, Birmingham says no, Manchester says no, Coventry said no, were coming together to do kind of like a protest against knife crime. So there was a lot of people involved who, you know, had lost, you know, you had mothers who'd lost children through knife crime, or you had, you know, people who were victims of knife crime and all things like that. They just went, because obviously, you know, it was an epidemic, wasn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, when I say it was,
Still
it
is.
still is. But like even back then, it was kind of, you know, the statistics and the amount of young people that were being killed by being stabbed had absolutely skyrocketed. So it was this big kind of, you know, countrywide movement, shall we say. So the plan was, at the same time, on the same day, all these cities would do their like protest to kind of, you know, pick up some, you know, waves or maybe some publicity.
Yeah, media traction.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the badger. Anyway, so a lot of things like Rachel Cutler, you know what I mean? She's just, we work so well together, we're so opposite, if you know what I mean. Like Rachel's real kind of like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Whereas I'm kind of like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You know, like that kind of thing. It's like, so she kind of in her mindset was like, well, at the end of the day, who's going to pay attention to a group of people walking from one end of Broad Street to another with these placards saying, drop the knife, drop the knife, drop it. No one really pays any attention, do they, to protest? And 9 times out of 10, a protest is seen as kind of more negative. Yes. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at them stopping traffic, or look at them. Yeah. So you don't really get, you know.
It's the whole point.
Yes, you know what I mean? So next thing you know, Rachel has got this massive stage in Victoria Square, Birmingham, speaker system, she's got this knife arch, she's got like, you know, it's got like everything. And it's kind of like, it was just surreal to watch, if that makes sense. So we had like young people just turn up. We had like the Bike Life kids who were riding their bikes. We had dancers. We had poets. We had like, you know, the 14-year-old autistic DJ who is absolutely smashing it. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, rappers. We had people with lived experience. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it was just mad how, you know, we had bereaved families who'd lost, you know, loved ones to knife crime, and people who'd lost friends, and it turned into this massive positive event. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like, it was just so brilliant to kind of like, to watch and to witness and to be there, if that makes sense. So after that, I think that's when Rachel was kind of like, do you know something? We've had over 250 people turn up to this. She said, we've had people just coming to perform. Do you know what I'm saying? To show that, you know, not all young people are in gangs, not all young people carry knives, or she said there's just young people that just want somewhere where they can sing, where they can dance, where they can rap, where they can, you know what I mean, in a safe kind of environment. And hence then, that's when, you know, Birmingham Says No to Knife Crime and Youth Violence was formed. So she asked me, would I, you know, be in it with her? And I'm like, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, because it is all about empowering young people.
Yeah.
So from there, we kind of went on then to, you know, a lot of begging, a lot of borrowing, a lot of pleading, but we've managed to put on numerous events for young people. I think are probably most, you know, it's just weird because last year we did a football, 5-a-side football tournament in memory of Cody Fisher, who was stabbed to death at the Crane nightclub in Digbeth.
Yeah.
Because one of his friends had done like, you know, like the 3 Peaks Challenge.
Yeah.
Had done like the 3 Peaks Challenge and had donated some money to us. And we're like, well, you like football? We'll do a football tournament. We had over 500 11 to 19-year-olds, you know, turn up for a 5-a-side football tournament just so, you know, winning team wins 350 quid in JD vouchers. 500 11 to 19-year-olds. No trouble, nothing.
Nothing.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where our sort of, you know, our growth came from and where our heart is. You know what I mean? We're in it now. We're a voice for young people. We empower young people. We're there for young people. We found some, you know, we found them homes. We found them jobs. We found, do you know what I mean? We're just, we're there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we've had dance competitions. We've had open mic competitions. You know, we've just done a massive video project, and that only kind of the finale that was actually on Friday night, where, you know, we just get little pots of funding from whatever, and we just turn it into something amazing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like these 5 kids. It's kind of like they went into sort of like this massive boardroom, and they got to learn about the music industry, you know, the do's and the don'ts, that you can't take this off YouTube, and you know, to learn all the legalities. And then they had to write a song. Then they went into a recording studio and recorded the song, which they can't do anyway because it cost them a bloody fortune.
Yeah.
And then, you know, credit one of our Birmingham Says No young people, do you know what I mean, who we met back in 2019 at that very, very first event. He made them all professional music videos.
Brilliant.
And we premiered them on Friday night, and it was just absolutely, it just blow you away. It just absolutely blow you away.
So it's
that's-
relevant, isn't it?
Yeah,
To
of
kids.
course it is.
It's something that they love and they want to
Of
get
course it is.
involved in, and it's
But also we're saying, do you know what I mean, there's a method to it as well, because you know, you can't come on this project and talk about shanking your mate or shooting this or shotting this no, you come with us and it's got to be a positive song. Do you know what I'm saying? It's got to be like a positive song.
can spit some
But it's-
lyrics, but they have,
But
it
it's
has
like,
to be.
spit some bars or something.
Bars, yeah.
whatever,
Yeah,
do you know what I
It has to
mean?
be. Well, that's a great
Yeah.
outline, isn't it?
And it's just great because you can still have, you know, you can still have it in the grime genre, you can have it in the whatever, you know what I'm saying, the soul, R&B, whatever, rap, grime, drill, but you ain't like doing it, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can still make music, but you don't have to talk about,
Guns, knives,
Yes.
robbing, drugs.
and it was absolutely unbelievable, it was amazing to see these videos, it was just, and this is something that these kids would need about 2.5, 3 grand in their pocket to have, they haven't got it.
Yeah.
No one's got it.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, but why should they not? Because they like music. Why shouldn't they have it? Do you know what I mean? It's, exactly.
What you find about with Love Brum? Because I know that obviously we've met again through Love Brum.
Yes.
Exposure wise, isn't it? Really, with
It
Love
is,
Brum.
and that's kind of like, you know, we first met Love Brum. Again, I'm trying to think, was it pre or was it before the pandemic or after the pandemic? We're not sure, you know, but obviously we were awarded £500 off Love Brum, and what we did is we put that towards like bleed control training.
Yeah.
Whereas basically, you know, the sad reality of life is we're teaching young people and members of the community how to save someone's life if they ever come across, you know, a catastrophic bleed, whether it be from a gunshot or whether it be from, you know, a stabbing or whether it be from, you know, an industrial accident or something. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's
It's
and that-
great, isn't it? It's mad how you have to be in that mode.
it is, and
to be-
that's the kind of like, you know, that's the real sad part of it. Do you know what I mean? Because basically what we're saying to these kids is, you know, you could be walking down the road and you or one of your mates or whatever could just end up being shot or stabbed. That's the harsh reality of like of walking down the road, not even life on the streets, walking home from school, walking to the shops. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, and that provides good kind of like basic, you know, because at the end of the day, if you two are walking through the park, you see someone get shot or stabbed, the police and the ambulance ain't coming to you. You've got to deal with it. You've got to deal with it until the police deem the scene fit for the ambulance to attend. Do you know what I'm saying? So you are, and these kids are, first responders.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it
It's
kind of-
like it's like
Yeah.
learning first aid, isn't it? But
Yeah.
on a different, at an
a
advanced
completely
level.
different level, which is really strange because bleed control isn't actually part of first aid. I can't fathom it out really, but it's not, you know, and that's kind of, you know, it's sad, but you know, our training, believe it or not, as well, has actually been put into practice, and that's also the sad reality of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we are the new kids on the block, but if you had a look, and it's so egotistical, this, I'm going to say this game, if that makes sense. This field is so egotistical that it's the same as every walk of life, isn't it? You find the people that are in it just for the financial gain, but then you find the people who are in it for the heart. And that's what I can say about Birmingham Says No, do you know what I mean? It's like you can't question why me and Rachel are in this because we don't get money to be in this. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and people, you know, and that's where the realness, I think, shows through. And I think that's kind of why, you know, we've got the biggest youth following in the whole of the city, if not the country. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the impact that we've made and what we actually do. Just check out all the projects on the social media. You know, over 500 people turn up to a dance contest. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just madness. But they do it because they know they're safe. They feel safe. Because
Other
we
places
have
they
all
might
our,
not, yeah.
and it's just weird. Do you know what I mean? It's like the pull we have, and I think the pull we have, it's kind of like you know, what we say is our motto is we're just two mums, but two mums that care. And I think that's the difference with us. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not regulated. We're not the police. We're not social services. We're not schools. We're mums. Do you know what I mean? And I think that makes a massive difference. We're not,
Even just saying that, that's
yeah.
wrong, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, we're not office based. We ain't got this big office. We ain't got this big, you know, this big building and rare. We haven't got, you know, thousands. We have little, whatever flickers in. Do you know what I'm saying? And it goes back into like the young people. It's kind of like, we've never applied for like these massive pots of funds because we don't know how, we don't know what they are, we don't know where they are, and no one's going to share them with you because if they share them with you, that's some out of their pocket, and do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, and I think that's what makes us so real with what we do. Do you know what I mean? And hence why now we've kind of gone now and we've flipped this now because like during the pandemic, we ended up, believe it or not, helping a food bank deliver food parcels to vulnerable families, etc., and that food bank, I don't know, closed. So what did we do? Started self-funding it. So we're then still self-funding food parcels to vulnerable families and have been doing for about 2 years, and it's kind of like, we can't keep doing this, you know. It's like, we won't be able to feed our own kids, but the caring side, the mum side, you can't let, you know, someone comes to you like they can't feed their kids. I'm sorry, that's my heartstrings pulled. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just what kind of person I am. Do you know what I'm saying? So we applied for some funding from the National Lottery, and they gave it to us. We were like, oh my God. Do you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, wow. You know, so how's this kind of happened? And hence why now we've been able to open the community hub. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so we've opened this community hub. It's absolutely amazing. Do you know what I mean? It does be chocker everywhere, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and people are just coming down. They're getting unlimited, you know, unlimited drinks, unlimited toast, unlimited crumpets, some cakes if someone brings them in cake.
Cheesecake.
Oh, yeah, got cheesecake,
3 packs of Jaffa cakes.
and 3 packs of Jaffa cakes. I ain't signing
I'm
no
gonna forget to leave that.
I ain't signing no form, waiving no fee. No, it's kind of like, do you not know who I am?
Yeah, cheesecake, 3 packs of Jaffa's on your rider.
Cheesecake, that went in about 10 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
It a
like,
bit bigger. I bought it.
wow.
If we'd have known that we were going to find out Gary Busey loves Oxo,
Who would have bought, yeah? Three pocket boxes.
That's a good thing. Like, obviously, heading up to Windsor, I'm going to start introducing Oxos, Oxo cubes here in bread. Obviously, they get soups, you know what I mean? And they can sit here. It's 4 hours, you know, 3 days a week. They can sit here as long as they want, you know what I'm saying? They're warm, they're dry, they're fed, they're socialised, you know what I'm saying? The friendships and everything that have been made out there is unbelievable to watch. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, we've got like the single parent, you know, she's a Muslim woman, she's fled, you know, domestic violence. She's got a little baby, and the second she comes in, everyone's rushing up to the baby, and so the mum can sit there and she can have a cup of tea in peace, and these little kids just laughing away, and do you know what I mean? It's
priceless, isn't it?
Oh,
Even though it's
1 million
massive
percent.
financially.
Yeah,
It's priceless.
it really, really is, and that's kind of like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it's just brilliant. It's just amazing to see.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Check my post, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oxos. No, thank you ever so much for your time this morning. Genuinely brilliant work that you did with the charity. Keep up the good work. We'll put it out and spread the word as far as we can.
Tag it up.
It's not much, it's something.
All donations greatly accepted. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I said, tea bags, coffee. I could do this. I'm joking, but you know, it's about these, and it's like when you realise. I know you said you were finished. I took over again, and I can't help myself. Can I? Just can't help myself. Do you know what I mean? It's all worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's keep these people fed. But carry on, as you were.
But you can do it if you want. You can finish it.
Yeah, I'm alright. I'll shut up now.
No, it's been amazing. I need a little bit. Thank you very much.
So do you think we need part 2?
Probably.
I think
When your book comes out.
Oh, when we book, I write it first.
Yeah, man. Right, look.
So he dangles the gatto carrot, and then he's like, you know, we'll do part 2 when you've written a book.
Yeah. All one time.
And mate, to be fair, do you know what I mean?
No, sorted.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Oh, you're welcome.